Welcome to Marc's Photography Tips, brought to you by SanDisk. We're here with Jack Hutch, a commercial and editorial photographer. Jack, thanks for joining us.
Nice to see you.
We were talking about how to break into the industry for a newer photographer. What's your advice on that?
I'd have to say, most people go out, they get a digital camera, or they get it for their birthday, Christmas, something like that, and they go out, take some photographs, and all of a sudden they're starting to see some results. They're saying, wow, look at this, I took this great photograph, and say they shoot 500 photos, and in that 500 they got 3 or 4 that really, start amazing them or make them feel good about maybe what they're doing or maybe achieving or starting a photography so-called career. I think the biggest mistake that any young photographer or new photographer, let's say, is that they don't think they need to be around training or other photographers. My father passed away when he was 59 years old. I was 22. And the one thing that I remember when I was 17 years old is he told one of my brother's friends who was becoming a commercial photographer, he said, I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go to get a degree, which I believe in. He goes, but if you really want to be a great photographer, a great artist, you will go and work for a great photographer for free. You will go and sweep his floors, you will wash his bathroom, you will make his coffee. Because being around that element of greatness, somebody who's put in those 20 years to be where they're at, is no education can make. And he said, that is how you become great. He goes, Picasso didn't become a great artist overnight. He worked with people. He goes, every single artist out there, besides some of the naturals, always have a mentor, always go out and work with people. And I think the biggest mistake that photographers that want to become involved in this business try to go from A to Z without putting in the time, I call it,
Right.
without going to boot camp.
Yeah.
And I went to boot camp for 5 years as an assistant. And I tell a lot of my assistants today that it takes 3 to 5 years to really understand a photographer's kind of mojo and how he works.
Yeah.
And I think if you find a photographer that you enjoy his work and want to mentor his work, that's the first thing you should do. Get on the phone, make a call, send an email, and try to be involved with that photographer's world and assist him and be there with all kinds of things, keeping the cameras in order, making sure the studio's great, making sure the gas is full in the car. I mean, things like that people don't even think about, because what happens is by being around that, you realize what it truly takes to be a photographer, beyond, a pretty picture. And that element comes into play after, being around that photographer on that location. And even if you're the third assistant, the guy who's getting the coffee for the other assistants, guess what? You're seeing the lighting, you're hearing the talk.
Yeah.
You're being around a whole different environment that you could never be exposed to. And I think it's the #1 thing. There's nothing more important to anyone than to put in your dues, work with photographers that you truly enjoy or mentor for 3 years, 5 years, somewhere around there. And that way I think you'll see what happens, and it's a great thing.
Awesome, Jack. Thanks
Okay.
for the good advice.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our blog, where we'll give you updates and tips. This is Marc Silber reminding you to get out and capture your own images of life.